Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of my lure fishing only account. The goal of this account is to reach 100% in the lure fishing skill and get some trophies on the way. In the last episode we managed to get to 50% lure fishing and started with the lure crafting skill. This episode's goal is to finish some achievements and make as much money as possible. This is for all my YouTube members. Make sure to join. Because we are on this map for the first time, let's go to the administration building and buy ourselves a map of this lake. This will help us find all the coordinates and where we need to go and also see the depth of the lake. First spot of this episode is at 5285. I will use retrieval speed 50 for the chick step and for the lure baby crow 3.5004 with happy hook offset 13 S2. So here's the setup if you want to follow the same setup that I'm using, but you are better off if you use a stronger rod and a stronger reel with a stronger leader over here. This spot was actually suggested to me by one of you guys, so thanks for the spot. What a great start to the episode. We got a white bass. It wasn't the biggest white bass, but not the smallest, and it also gave us some spin fishing percentage. And in this episode I'm actually not going for the 5% goal. I'll do at least 2.5% and probably a bit more, but we'll see how it goes. I have a few cool spots that I want to test out in this episode, get some achievements done, and then in the next one we can work on some more achievements to be the master at spin fishing. But the white bass trophy, by the way, is 1.75 kilos, so if you're new on this map then you know. And if you've never used a three-way rig before, the way you fish it is just like with jigging. What you do is you reel in a bit, stop for some time, reel in a bit and stop for some time. And this is literally all you do. Nothing goes and then suddenly there will be a fish on. And by the looks of it we have something big on the hook. And this is one of the reasons why I said at the beginning that you might want to have a better setup over here. Because as you can see, this setup is not optional, but it will do the job, don't get me wrong. But the problem is that over here you will get some fish every now and then that are just so huge that they will spool you for like 15 minutes in real life time, which means you're gonna lose out on a lot of money. But if you have even a slightly stronger setup, just use that. Use a sinker that matches your rod test and you should be golden. But let's see what kind of a fish it is. It's maybe a drum or a bass, I'm not really sure. I still haven't learned the fish patterns on this map, the way they swim, the way they fight, so it's all kind of fun and new for me as well, and I'm really actually enjoying fishing on this map. But that, by the looks of it, is a largemouth bass, and actually not a super tiny one. This looks like a pretty good one. So let's see if this is like a kilo and a half maybe. Oh, 1.2 kilos. I overestimated a bit. But yeah, the trophy size for larges is 6 kilos, so we were far away from the trophy size. May I interest you in liking the video? And this looks like a white crappie, and not a tiny one. This is actually a pretty good one. 755 grams, that's not a bad white crappie. And it's so cool to fish all of these fish now in the game that I've actually caught in real life as well while I was in the US, and it was so much fun. And if you want to check out that video, then there's a link down in the description, or I'll actually put a pop-up up here as well. Okay, it looks like we are in for another fight. This is a semi-strong fish, just like the bass was, so maybe this could be another bass. Let's see, I'm gonna skip a bit of the fight. It is a largemouth bass. It's so wild that these fish, this is probably like another kilo or so, just like the last fish. They fight so hard compared to some of the other fish in the game, and I thought this setup would be kind of nice to catch maybe largemouth bass up to like 2.5 kilos or more, but it is definitely not good enough. So if we get anything that's like 3 kilos or so, we're gonna be in trouble. Something a bit more manageable is on the hook right now, and I just want to say that actually fishing on this spot is kind of fun. The spot is not dead, it's not like extremely active, but you catch a fish almost with every single cast, and I have a feeling like we're actually going to make a nice bit of cash after we are done with like 1 hour of fishing over here. Another white bass, I take those. Another largemouth, I can just feel it. I've kind of learned how the largemouth fight in this game. They're pretty slow. I would expect them to be like super fast like brown trout or so, but they're actually pretty chill. They just hold on to the lure very hard. And also I caught a walleye. I have a feeling like the walleyes and largemouth bass are going to be worth quite a bit, so if I can catch more of those and less white bass, I'd be super happy about it. But getting the white bass in is so easy. Getting the walleyes in, not the easiest, and getting the largemouth bass in, quite hard to be honest. They fight the most. At least so far out of all these fish that I've caught, they fight the most. But this is another walleye. That's a pretty decent walleye, 1.2 kilos. If you didn't know, then walleyes are kind of like sander or pike perch, however you call them in Europe, but sander in Europe is like walleye on steroids. it's so much stronger and grows so much bigger. But catching walleyes, I've heard, is loads of fun, and they also taste very good. We have another fish on, something tinier, so maybe another white bass or a crappie. Let's see, what could it be? And it's another white bass, but this is a tiny one. Oh boy, this is not good. I think we hooked into a very big largemouth bass or a drum. I have absolutely no clue what it could be, but I think we need to start walking more to the right side soon, just to make sure that the fish doesn't get out of this smaller pond area right here where we're fishing. Otherwise, if it goes out into the open water, then we might be screwed. I think it's time to walk. Let's go to that side. Otherwise, we might get spooled and run out of line, which is not ideal. Let's try to not lose any tension, because if you lose tension, you could lose the fish. So I'm trying to keep the tension up while walking, which is sometimes not the easiest thing to do, because you can lose the tension so easily. And I think maybe actually staying on this dock is a good option. Ooh, I lost almost all tension. That's not good. That is a rookie mistake. I should know better. Well, look at the time, and don't tell me that I did not call this out before, because this is insane. It's 9 p.m. Actually, it's almost half to 10, which is insane. It took me like 6 hours to just reel in this fish in game, and this looks like a big freshwater drum, but most likely not a trophy. So we'll see how big it is. I would estimate it's probably around 5 kilos or so. It kind of fought like carp on a weak setup. If you manage to hook into one by accident on Mosquito Lake or any other water bodies, this should be the biggest fish I've ever caught on a 3-way rig. Let's see, how big is it? Oh yeah, 9 kilos. Okay. New record catch. This is sick. 7,000 EXP as well. I take that, but this is 9 kilos. It's way bigger than I thought. I think I hooked into like a microscopic fish now on this lobster tail. What is that even? Literally as big as the lure is. It looks like a white bass. Yes, it is. 54 grams. That is a bubba fish. The good thing on ELK Lake is that actually during the nighttime, the fishing doesn't really die out. And as you can see, I switched over to a spinner. I just wanted to try out if the spinners will work over here during the nighttime as well. And we've hooked into another bass. But yeah, this spot and this lake, it doesn't die out during the nighttime, which is absolutely amazing. I've actually caught another species towards our goal of catching 25 types of fish using a lure rig. That is cool. We want to get all 25 done at one point. Let's go. New species, a bluegill. This is only 200 grams. So we were like 6 times away from the trophy size, because the trophy size is exactly 1.2 kilos. Fishing percentage. Let's go. 50.4%. Oh no. I think we all know what has happened again. We have hooked into another big freshwater drum. So I guess it's time to skip some time. This fish is definitely not as big as the last one, but it's still a pretty big one. I wonder how much these fish are worth. I hope they're worth quite a bit, but I have a feeling like they're not gonna be worth that much compared to bass and walleyes. I'm going to buy a heavier sinker and actually switch over to my heavy rod setup. So this is my setup that I will be using from now on instead of using this light setup. We fished on this spot for exactly 1 hour and made 136 silver. So this freshwater drum, they're not worth as much as you'd like to. So catching walleyes and largemouth bass is the best option. Oh, we hooked into a nice fish, and I'm using the heavy setup right now, as you can see. And reeling in a fish over here, not a problem at all anymore. I wonder how big this fish is, because it actually spooled us for a bit. Like, you could hear the reel make that noise for a few seconds. So this is a walleye, and how big is it? It's 2 kilos. Previously we struggled with a 1.2 kilo walleye, I think. So that is super nice. Switching over to this heavy rod was a very good choice. I see. So now when I'm fishing with the heavy setup, I get a drum that's like kilo. Yeah, okay. Even less, 500 grams only. That is a behemoth of a white crappie. Is that actually a trophy maybe? I've never caught a trophy white crappie. Okay, it's 1.296 kilos. The trophy size is 1.35. We were like 50 grams off. Is this new species for the lure rig? If it is, then we have another species ticked off the 25 species list. And this is actually the achievement I was talking about. I want to complete as many of these as possible so we could reach the highest rank of lure fishing skill. And I think it's a cool side quest, and it will give us some sort of a roadmap what kind of a fish to go after while getting the fishing percentage. Oh, my reel made some very odd noises, so I guess it was because my friction brake was so low. Let's see what kind of fish do we have on now. Is this maybe actually again a new species, or is this something that we've already had? But looks of it, it's something that we have already had, a white bass. Let's go. New species, gizzard shad. Back-to-back gizzard shads, but this is like 3 times the size of the last one. 600 grams, not bad. I mean, this is literally half the trophy size, because the trophy size is 1.1 kilos. Not bad. This is kind of a unexpected unexpected catch on this big craw, but I mean, we take it. Maybe we can actually snag a trophy warmouth. We have hooked into something pretty decent once again. I wonder if this is a largemouth bass. Oddly enough, I've caught almost no largemouth bass now once I've switched over to this heavier setup, and this is hugging the bottom quite a bit, so it could be a walleye. Oh, it looks like a bass. I think this is another largie, or maybe a smallmouth. I can't really see from that far away. Okay, this actually could be our first smallmouth. Let's see. It is 1.3 kilos and almost 2000 EXP. How nice. I just love the EXP over here. More big fish. I like that. I wish we could find a very good spot over here where you can farm largemouth bass and walleyes and so on. That would mean that we could probably make like 200-300 silver an hour, but so far it looks like it's gonna stay between like 100 to 200 silver an hour. But that's another walleye. 1.7 kilos. A nice fish. That crappie is quite big. 684 grams. Not a bad fish. Hopefully we can actually catch as many different species as possible, which means that we can fill up a lot of cafe orders, and this is one of the goals also. I want to fill up as many cafe orders here as possible because there's a lot of species over here that don't pay well, but if you can fill up the cafe order, it kind of makes it even. 50.5%. We've gained 0.4% in like hour and a half of fishing. As you can see, it's getting slower and slower. Pretty decent bluegill. Good for a cafe order. Money time. I managed to fill up the white crappie cafe order for 9 silver and sell the rest of the keep net for 145 silver, which means in total we made 154 silver. Not bad for 1 hour of fishing on this map. The money is really stacking up. I have moved my spot to 142, 115. I'm still using the same setup with speed 50. And first of all, don't come over here. I've fished over here for like 15 minutes without a bite, and this is the first bite. I just wanted to see what it is. And by the looks of it, it is a new species for us. It's a butterfly peacock bass. That is super cool. I wish I could catch one of these in real life at like Florida or somewhere. These look amazing, and I've heard they fight so much harder than regular bass. Okay, I found another fairly decent spot. So I'm fishing right now at 65.92. I'm using retrieval speed 50 and for the lure baby crawl 3.5004 with the same happy hook offset 13 size 2. And we have hooked into a pretty big fish. I really want to see what it is. It's almost spooling us on this heavy setup, so it must be like a big drum or something. I actually have no clue. We are making quite a bit of progress on the fish, but I haven't seen it yet. There's no way that this is like a walleye or a largemouth bass around 1.5 kilos on this setup and spooling me like that. That makes absolutely no sense because this setup is so much stronger than my light setup. But I was wrong. This is a largemouth bass. I wonder if this is our PB. It is. Okay, it's 2.6 kilos. I can kind of understand now why it was almost spooling us. 2.6 is a very big largemouth bass. Here we go, another bass from this spot. This spot has been actually fairly decent, but I would say not the best. So let's hope the morning time is going to be better. Well, oops, I made 100 bucks. Let's switch over to a skirted jig rig and try out another spot. This next spot that I'm testing out is at 65.93. It's literally on the dock at the spawn. I will use retrieval speed 30 and for the lure, the Kalmar Lures Finesse Micro Jig 1/8 of ounce 002. What I'll do is I'll do the jig step again, which means just like we fished before, I'll reel it in a bit and then stop and just repeat the same process. Let's see what can we catch. And our first fish is on over here. I wonder what it is. It's something tiny for sure because we're not getting spooled at all. And it looks like a warmouth. Nice. Maybe this is a spot where we can actually get a warmouth trophy. The trophy is nothing too hard to get, I would say. I would think it's one of the easier trophies. So let's just hope that we have luck on our sides. I have to say that this spot is super active. I've caught a fish with every single cast, and I'm casting slightly east from south, and this is where I'm catching all of these fish from, just in between areas of this 2T poles. And this is a very good bluegill. We also got 0.2% spin fishing. That is unexpected. 0.2, that is quite rare at this point. And as it looks, you can also catch some largemouth bass with this lure while fishing over here for the smaller species. And we hit 51%. That is awesome. A white crappie. I really wonder how long it will take us to get a trophy on this lake. I know that getting trophies over here on a float fishing setup is fairly easy. You can use the sandwich bait ability if you have that unlocked. And even if you don't have that, you can still catch trophies on just one bait, which is quite insane. I've heard people catching like 4 or 5 different trophies in just one sitting in like 1 hour. So I hope we can actually catch something on these lures as well. Would be cool to add another trophy to our list. This is Spoolfest on this micro jig. That is unexpected. Okay, I'll see you guys in a bit. What even is that fish? That is not a drum. I have absolutely no clue what it is. Is this some sort of a bass? I can't really even tell. It looks so odd. I've never caught a fish like this. It's like a white bass, but it's different. That is so odd. That is something totally new for me. So let's net this fish and see what it is. This is one odd looking creature, but I mean, it doesn't look bad and it looks big. So maybe a trophy? Let's see. Okay, so this is the hybrid striped bass, the white rock bass. It also gave us some spin fishing percentage. Thank you. So 4.4 kilos. That is a super big specimen because the trophy size is 8 kilos. So we got something that's over half the trophy size. Just look at this bite rate. It's insane. 51.5%. I'm just testing out different angles on this dock and I've decided to cast a bit more to the west side now. And we've hooked into, by the looks of it, another white bass. So it's kind of common over here to get the smallest species at this spot with this lure. And catching something super big that will spool you is not so common as it is with the baby craw. 51.7%. We are getting so much percentage right now. This is the last fish before we go and sell everything. Okay, and we got some fishing percentage. Lucky us. It's time to make some money. I managed to fill up the warmouth cafe order for 10 silver, white crappie order for 10 silver, largemouth bass order for 40 silver, and sold the rest of the keepner for 70, which means in total we made a whopping 130 silver. Let's try the same jig with the different colors. I'm gonna buy this 003. So I'm fishing at the same spot where I was before, just with a different lure. So now I'm using the same skirted jig, but this is the 003 version. Let's see if maybe this is actually better for fishing over here, or if this is worse. But by the looks of it, we have our first fish on the first cast, which is, I would say at least, a very good sign. So let's see what kind of a fish it is. Hopefully this is like a money-making fish. It's a, I don't even know, a 5 kilo walleye. Huh? That would be nice. But it's most likely another white bass. But actually it's not. This is a very, very healthy looking bluegill. 524 grams. Hi, maybe this is the spot where we get our trophy. Or maybe not. Fishing over here during the nighttime with this lure is absolutely great. I'm still catching fish every single cast. I just caught this warmouth and trust me, just wait like 5 seconds or 10 seconds. I'm gonna catch another fish from the same spot where I just caught the previous one. So the jig step is active. Let's see, come on. Yes, we have another fish on. This lure is wonderful. This is giving us such a good opportunity to get more fishing percentage per the 24-hour cycle in game, because otherwise during the nighttime, if it's inactive, we're just waiting and wasting a lot of time. But that's another warmouth. Nothing too big though. 51.9%. We are flying through the percentage. Okay, we've actually finally caught something different other than the warmouth. I think I had like 5 or 6 warmouth in a row, just back to back to back to back, every single cast. But this is hopefully another bass, so we're making at least a teeny tiny bit money, because warmouth, turns out, they're like perch. They don't pay almost at all. Okay, bass, it's time to get in my inventory, because I'm gonna sell you maybe for 10 bucks. Actually, probably not. It's only 700 grams. 52%. That is huge. Would you look at that? I haven't had this fish in such a long time. This is a black crappie. 406 grams. Not bad. And we hooked into something semi-decent once again. Fishing over here during the nighttime, as I said before, amazing. Just use this lure on this dock, just cast across, cast to the edges. Doesn't really matter, it just works. That looks like the biggest white bass that we've actually caught. Yeah, 1 kilo. That is not bad. We're getting closer to that trophy size. We just have a few hiccups in the road with the small fish, but at one point we'll have to catch a trophy. Another white bass. It seems like on this map, white bass is like the most common fish to catch, at least by the looks of it. I just catch so many of them. Maybe it's just me. I just love how these small fish will give me fishing percentage, and all the other big ones, they're not gonna give me anything. But it's also kind of about the numbers. The more you catch, the bigger is the chance that you actually get some spin fishing percentage. We have something big on, and it doesn't feel like a drum, because before it was having some sort of zoomies, which was quite unexpected. I did not expect any zoomies because I was thinking it was going to be a drum, and I really want to see what kind of a fish it is. Hopefully it's something nice that will actually make some money as well. Oh, what just happened? We just lost a fish without a message or anything. Another big white bass. We're getting closer and closer to that trophy, I have a feeling. Even though this is probably not my BB of the episode, but at least the average size has gotten bigger. Just please be a white bass that's actually spooling me like this, or just hugging the bottom. That is odd. It's kind of a white bass behavior, but I'm not sure how big this fish could be. It's kind of maybe the same size as the one that I had before that was around a kilo, because it was fighting in a very similar way. It is a white bass, and it's a huge one once again. Okay, this is so much fun. 1 kilo once again. It's money time once again. I managed to fill up the warm out cafe order for 9 silver, bluegill order for 13 silver, and sold the rest of the keep net for 101 silver, which means in total we made 1, 2, 3 silver. What a huge black crappie. Oh boy, I kinda miss fishing with my strong rod setup because I'm just getting spooled right now, and this seems like another long fight. This fish is not giving up at all, and it's just going and going and going. So I guess I'll see you in like 20 minutes. Actually, the fish came up quite a bit earlier than I thought, and this is our first catfish. I knew that this could happen if we do some jigging on the bottom, but I was hoping that it wouldn't. But it did, and I'm actually glad that it did because this is our first flathead catfish, and it's a respectable 3 kilo catfish, so we definitely take that. Another species added to the list. 33 silver. Shopping for lures is so exciting. New spot alert. We are fishing at 121.108. We will use retrieval speed 35. And for the lure, brisk flipping jig, 3/8 of an ounce, 001. So what we'll do is we're just gonna cast slightly towards right of south, towards this kind of an island in between, and we'll do the jig step once again. This is kind of a theme on this map, just doing the jig step, unless you're using spinners or spoons. And we have our first fish on, and it looks like a pretty decent fish, to be honest. So hopefully this is a theme of this spot, that we're actually gonna catch a lot of big fish and make loads of money, because for the next episode, we need probably around 4,000 silver, and that is not an easy feat. Okay, the first fish is a largemouth bass, so this is exactly what we had on our roadmap. This is going to give us the money that we need. Well, catching white bass also helps, but I mean, catching largemouths, way better. Look at this beauty once again. This is another maybe 1.3 kilos or so. Let's see. Yeah, 1.2 kilo. Pretty good, but this is a smallmouth actually. My bad. Look at that bluegill. It looks absolutely huge. Is this a trophy bluegill? I really hope it is. Okay. No, we were so close though. 1.05 kilos and the trophy size is 1.2, not too far away. So maybe this spot has a potential for it. One thing is sure, that this spot is potential for some hogs, because we have hooked into another nice bass. I'm pretty sure this is a bass. Not sure if it's a smallmouth or a largemouth, but it is a bass. And if this trend continues, we're gonna have a full keep net of bass pretty soon. Oddly enough, they're almost all the same size. I haven't seen the percentage mark in a very long time. It's good to see. I'm telling you, complaining helps, and this is also kind of a new species, a spotted bass. Haven't had that in a very long time. 52.5%. This was kind of the minimum that I wanted to get in this episode, but we'll probably get some more percentage because I still want to keep fishing and make a bit more cash. And I have a few cool spots to still show you guys. Look at that stack of cash that we already have, but we're gonna make some more. We're gonna fill up this smallmouth bass cafe order for 36 silver and sell the rest of the keep net for 105 silver, which means in total, in 1 hour, we've made 141 silver. I'm going to bring out my heavy setup once again with the jig rig, so the spot we'll be fishing at is at 113.105. I will use the retriever speed 50, and for the lure, Texas Lures Perfect Crawl 3.5001. So I'm gonna do the jigging once again. I know it's kind of annoying to jig on this map all the time, but it seems like this jigs work the best, and we've actually hooked into a decent fish right away. It took us like 5 seconds. Let's see what kind of a fish it is. It is a kitty cat by the looks of it. This is a tiny one, thankfully. It's a channel catfish, 1.8 kilos, and it's a new sort of a fish that we have actually caught. This fish counted for 2 different tasks. That is super nice. This lure is catching a weird assortment of fish. I'm not really liking this right now. Okay, it's kind of redeeming itself. A nice smallmouth bass, and we've actually caught 10 different species on a jig rig, which was one of the tasks that we had to complete for the achievements list. Let's see, how big is this fish? If this fish is actually big enough, we might get rank 1 in jigging, which would be kind of cool to see, that we have something like fully completed and have a level of achievements done. This fish definitely has potential. Yes, 3.3 kilos, lovely. We've actually achieved rank 1 in jigging now. We have completed the most basic level, but hey, I'm still happy about it. We can only get better and better from over here. See, jigging, rank 1, super cool. So we're pretty much completing classic spinning and jigging over here. Maybe light and some ultralight tasks as well, but they are not in the focus for now. That's another big drum. That is a huge fish. 6.5 kilos, another task completed. I wish I've actually caught more of these fish, but I have a feeling like they are pretty rare on this map. I wish they would have the rare marking though to confirm my beliefs. Very nice walleye. One of the bigger ones of this episode. 135 silver. I'm not really complaining about that because we had no cafe orders, so it's a very, very good amount of money compared to the other hours. It's like maybe 10% more that we usually made, which is very nice. I'm gonna buy some stuff from the harvest though because we are running out of tea. We only have like 8 portions left. So I'm gonna buy enough that we can craft like 100 times or so. That means we should have like 600 portions of tea. And let's go and check out the camp on ELK Lake. I've actually never been here, so maybe there's something interesting. Something that we don't have on some other maps. So this is a tent, which is of course empty. And then we have of course the campfire. We can cook over here. We can actually smoke some fish. And I think I also saw a dryer on the left side. But yeah, we can do all sorts of things over here. This is cool. Yeah, a fish dryer. But what we're after is this fire pit over here so we can actually cook some tea. 600 portions of tea, that will last us quite a long time. Back at the same spots, and look at that hog. We have a very big red ear sunfish on. 1.63 kilos. Oh no, this game, it doesn't like me this time. This episode, no trophies, just close calls, because the trophy size is 1.7 kilos, which is 70 grams off the trophy size. But hey, we just gotta keep trying. 52.7%, 52.8%, and a fun weight walleye, 999 grams. Let's go. Let's make some money once again. I managed to fill up the largemouth cafe order for 39 silver and sold the rest of the keep net for 197 silver. Yes, you heard me right. Which means in total we made 237 silver, and with that we have more than 2.2k silver to our name. But that is not enough. This lure really likes to catch me catfish by the looks of it. This is another catfish, and this is bigger than the catfish that we had before. I'm pretty sure about that. So let's see how big is this catfish. Yeah, 6.1 kilos. That is definitely a new PB. Oh boy, this is the heavy setup. I'm just saying, this is not looking good. We started to fight this fish at 4 p.m. and now it's 9 p.m. This is how long it has taken me to reel in this fish on my actually a semi-decent good heavy setup. And this is a freshwater drum. This has to be a PB. I think that previous one that we had was like 9 kilos or so that we actually caught on the weak setup, but I can't exactly remember. Let's see how big is this one. Definitely not a trophy, I can tell you that much. 9.9 kilos. Look, this is the new largest fish caught. That is a hog. Quick 191 silver. That spot is pretty good, I'm telling you. New map and new spot alert. We are fishing at 2167. We're using speed 50 and for the lure Blast X Shad F95 03. So we're over here just catching pike. Hopefully we can actually snag a pike trophy. This is something that I wanted to do for a long time, and I saw that this spot is fairly active and some people actually caught a few trophies from over here, so I want to give it a shot. Hopefully we can get one. If not, then we'll just give in like 10 hours of fishing over here and see how much money we can make in that time. And yeah, once again, I'm doing a jigging. I'm casting towards southwest and just reeling in a bit, stopping and repeating the same process. And this is like a semi-decent pike. This is maybe like a kilo or kilo and a half. But we're mostly after those 5 kilo, 4 kilo, 3 kilo pike because they actually pay super well and they don't fight that much, so it's easy to get them in. This is the biggest pike so far. We've fished over here for like 5 hours of in-game time, and I mean that's almost nothing. So we'll probably get some bigger ones during the nighttime and also during the days when it's rainy. If there's a cafe order, then these pike around 2.5 or 2 kilos are the best for cafe orders. So hopefully this is another 2 kilo pike or something around that. If there is a cafe order, I can fill that up, but I didn't really check the cafe, so I'll do it later. Yeah, 2.5, nice. Pike cafe orders are so nice. 94 silver for 2 pike that weigh 2 kilos and extra 129 silver from the market, so we made 223 silver in less than 1 hour. This is one very, very special fish because we have hit level 21. It doesn't really unlock us anything good, but now we have 2 free skill points that we can use in the future in any of these skills that we'd like to use it in. I don't know where I'm going to use it yet, so I'm going to save them for later. And look at this, we have a spooler. This is maybe a trophy. Who knows? I'm not gonna get my hopes too high, but it seems like a pretty decent fish, so let's try to actually walk it. If we keep the fish on the left side, then it's super easy to just tire it out, but if we let it go too far to the right side, which it already kind of did, we might be doomed. This means that the fish could get out into the open water and actually might spool us out of line, and this is something that we definitely don't want happening if we have a pig on like this. Okay, the texture is not the trophy fish texture, but it's definitely one of the bigger fish of this episode. Let's see, how big are you? Get in the net. Oh no, come on. Okay, let's put the net away, I think, and reel in a bit. It kind of got away. Okay, let's reel in just slightly. Okay, we should be able to net the fish now. Come on, Pike. Why are you doing this? You're making me look like a fool. Okay, I'm gonna reel in even more, and then you will be in my net. 8.6 kilos. That is a lovely fish. 53.2%. 180 silver. Since you can't really fish for pike during the nighttime because they are super inactive, I'm gonna do some lure crafting. We need to get the skill up, so I'm just gonna craft some of these spoons and see how much percentage we can get. I think I'm gonna finish this episode at 10%, and then maybe in the next episode we go for the 20% mark. I should hit 10% with the next craft, and yes, we did. We can now actually craft new sorts of lures, which are these foam rubber fish, and these are going to be what we want to craft for quite some long time before we actually move on to another metal spoon in this crafting tree. And as you can see, now our inventory is riddled with these spoons that we don't need. So you can click on that small mark on the right corner, as I did, and then hold down shift, click on the first lure, on the last lure. This will highlight all the lures in between, and then you can just delete them all. Nice. Clean inventory once again. 130 silver, 190 silver. Fun weight pike. What are the odds? 4 numbers in a row, all the same. Easy 102 silver for the cafe order, 213 silver from the market, and that means in total we made 315 silver. That is the best keep net we've had so far in this episode. 53.5%. And we have a very nice big pike on the hook. I think the biggest one that we've had in the past 4 hours or so was 5 kilos, so this is something bigger. Hopefully this is another like 7, 8, 9 kilo pike. I really want to catch the trophy, but I guess we'll do it next time if it doesn't happen today, because I'm gonna stay here for like an hour or two and then I am done for this episode. We've already made so much progress, so much money, so it's time to give this spot the rest. 8.6 kilos. Quick 201 silver, 53.8%, and this is actually where we will end this episode. We made loads of progress this episode, and next episode we're gonna have even more fun with some achievements and unlocking a new rig. Until then, take care, bye bye.